Good morning. This is the moderator. I will promote the next petitioner, if that's all right with you, Judge.
Yes, please do. Thank you, Ms. Fisher.
All right, Jeffrey Nabatmama, I am going to make you a panelist so that you can mute and unmute yourself at will. If you'd like, we can do a sound check. Jeffrey, can you hear us?
It appears he is still muted. And I would like to ask the next petitioner if he could also please start using video, as the board has indicated that is their preference.
And I have sent the petitioner a request to unmute. Hopefully that helps.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
During practice session, when I opened up the program, I saw the video immediately, but in here I don't see my video at all. Oh, there's something. No, I see the button.
Yes, when you are promoted to panelist, you do have the option to add video.
Okay, there we go. Can you see me now?
Thank you.
Very good.
Let's see.
There you are. Thank you.
And let me just do a little bit of roll call, as it is now 10:56. So do we have Mr. Patterson back? All right, I will move on to the board. Do we have Dr. Mclean present? Do we have Dr. Paris present?
Present.
Thank you. Do we have Ms. Cruz present?
Present.
Thank you. Dr. Adams?
Present.
Thank you. Dr. Daniels?
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Sweet?
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Kurtz?
Present, Judge.
Thank you. Let me try again with Mr. Patterson. Mr. Patterson, if you are there and speaking, we cannot hear you. You may be muted. I will try Dr. Mclean.
Present.
Thank you. All right. So it appears we have everyone. We're waiting on Mr. Patterson.
And Mr. Patterson, I've sent you a request to unmute your microphone. I believe you're using your phone for your audio connection, so that is what you would unmute. And you may wish to try *6 to unmute yourself on your phone. That's another option if you're not in the app.
Mr. Patterson, are you able to hear us? Are you present? Ms. Fisher, could you try prompting him again and see if we can get a response?
Certainly. Certainly. Mr. Patterson, I've sent a request for you to unmute your microphone. And you can, if you are using your cell phone for the audio, you can certainly try *6. That may help you unmute.
We just have to be certain that we have Mr. Patterson. We are unable to create a record unless he is here with us transcribing, so he is an essential ingredient to our hearing.
Okay, you're unmuted. Mark? No,
Mr.
now
Patterson?
you're muted again. I saw you successfully unmute for a moment, but now you're muted again.
Hello.
Okay,
Wonderful.
we can hear you, Mr. Patterson. Are you ready for
Hello?
us? Can you hear us? Mr. Patterson, please confirm that you are able to hear us.
That's not a good sign.
Patterson, you appear to possibly have us muted. Ms. Fisher, would you mind messaging him?
Oops, oh goodness. Well, his phone call just fell off the meeting.
Okay, he'll probably be dialing back in.
Exactly. I do have his computer connection still as a part of the meeting, but I do not believe he has any audio facility in that regard.
And let me check with you, Dr. Mclean. Should I continue going through the list as they were written on the slide when I call for board members, or would you like me to do reverse order at any point in time?
No, whatever's easier for you.
Okay.
Judge.
Then I will continue doing it this way, just so folks know when they can anticipate asking their question. I don't mean any disrespect to folks who are later on the list. It's just an efficient way of holding the hearing.
Okay, I'm hoping this is Mark. Are you back with us?
Hello.
Okay, Mr. Patterson, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Wow. Yeah. Yes, I can, Your Honor.
Okay. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, may I just ask which one is next?
So the next
Philip Kim
one
or?
is Mr. And let me know if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Nabat Mama, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, you are pronouncing correctly.
Okay, Nabat Mama.
And you broke up during it, but.
Okay, so Mr. Patterson,
Nabamama?
the next one
Yes.
is Jeffrey Nabat Mama. Do you need the spelling or do you have it?
The last spelling I was given was wrong, so why don't I ask for it just to be safe?
Okay, and I will let the petitioner spell his name.
Jeffrey is my first name. My last name is Nabatmama.
Thank you, Mr.
There's a T in there. Nabatmama.
Yes, but as I see it in the meeting panel, seems like that is spelled correctly. Yeah, there's a T. N as a
Yes,
Nancy, A
I
as
was.
an apple, B like a boy, A as an apple, T like a Tom, M as a Mary, A as an apple, M as a Mary, A as an apple.
That was helpful. I appreciate it. And I would just ask you to please slow down when we start the hearing.
Okay, sure.
Okay,
Please.
all right.
Okay, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Patterson, are we ready?
Let's give it a shot, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. We are on the record today in the matter of the petition for reinstatement filed by Jeffrey Nabat Mama. We are here with the Board of Chiropractic Examiners, Department of Consumer Affairs. A quorum of the board is present. My name is Jessica Wall. I am an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings assigned to preside over this matter. The agency case number is AC2003-332. The OAH case number is 20211100529. May I please take the appearance of the Deputy Attorney General?
Seth Curtis from the Office of the Attorney General, appearing pursuant to Government Code Section 11522, representing the interests of the public and to assist in fact-finding.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. We have the petitioner present and representing himself. Mr. Nabat Mama, as you are representing yourself, I'm going to give you some initial instructions. In this proceeding, the board is concerned with hearing about any rehabilitation since your license was disciplined. Mr. Curtis will first present your petition package and provide background in this matter. After that, you will have an opportunity to make your presentation. As a reminder, The board has had the benefit of reading the petition package, and you do not need to repeat anything in that package. You will be subject to questioning both by the board members and Mr. Curtis. After the hearing, the board will go into closed session to deliberate. You will not receive a decision today. It will be mailed in the near future. Do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. We now move to Mr. Curtis to present the petition package.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would ask to mark for identification and offer in evidence the petition packet and supporting documents. The petition packet consists of a statement by petitioner, a letter regarding the satisfaction of outstanding costs, a Discover card statement, a psychological eval, a CV and letter from a Sean Pakdaman, Pakdaman, several charitable receipt donations, I believe 36 character letters that were submitted by petitioner, 45 pages of continuing education certificates, a copy of petitioner's real estate license, copy of his appraisal license, a printout from the Department of Insurance for license detail, and a copy of petitioner's notary public commission. The petition packet includes the prior disciplinary documents, which include accusation number 2003-332 and the stipulated surrender of license and order, which had an effective date of December 18, 2014. Includes the prior petitions that petitioner in this case had previously filed, and several supplemental documents that were submitted late by petitioner, and the declaration of service and the notice of hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Curtis. Mr. Nabbit-Mama, do you have any objection to admission of those documents as your petition packet in this matter?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 is admitted into evidence.
Thank you, Judge. By way of background, Mr. Nabbit-Mama, hopefully I'm saying that right, was issued his chiropractic license number DC 24181 on January 29 of 1996. On December 18 of 2014, the license was surrendered. The underlying accusation that was previously filed, accusation number 2003-332, alleged that respondent at that point, petitioner today, had been convicted of crimes substantially related to the qualifications, functions, or duties of a chiropractor. The actions involved moral turpitude and dishonesty, and that he engaged in unprofessional conduct from fraudulent billing and knowingly making or signing documents which falsely represented the existence or non-existence of facts, that he participated in acts of fraud or misrepresentation, and that he violated or attempted to violate provisions of the Chiropractic Act and or regulations. The underlying offenses that were alleged in the accusation involved respondents, now petitioner, signing 28 certificates for disability for applications for disabled placards, and falsely representing that those patients suffered a disability, that he committed billing fraud, and that he committed gross negligence and failed to document necessary and important information in medical records. Since that time, respondent has requested reinstatement in 2006, in November of 2006, which was denied by the board on July 16 of 2007. He again requested reinstatement on February 16 of 2013, and that request was denied on February 21, 2014. Had requested reinstatement on February of 2015, which was denied effective April 15, 2016. And lastly, had requested reinstatement in April of 2018, and that request was denied on August 30 of 2019. Since the burden is on petitioner, I have no other questions at this time, but would reserve to question and respond after petitioner after the presentation of his evidence.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Curtis. So, Mr. Nabat Mama, we now move to you for your testimony. I don't think I swore you in yet, so please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will provide in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I affirm, Your Honor.
Thank you. So this is your opportunity to present your case. As I stated before, this is not about restating the facts in your petition. It is your opportunity to testify about your rehabilitation. So you're welcome to speak now.
Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Curtis, stated, I was involved in, lots of fraudulent activities, and I'm very well aware of that these, activities were against the law.
Excuse me a moment, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Patterson?
I'm having a hard time understanding due to the speed and accent that I'm detecting.
Okay, well, we can't do anything about the way people speak, but we can ask them to slow down. So
Yes,
if I could
yes.
ask the petitioner to please take a little bit more care to speak slowly, loudly, and clearly. Thank you.
yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
As Mr. Curtis stated, I was involved in some fraudulent activities, and I'm aware of at the moment. I'm very much aware that these activities were, fraudulent and illegal, of course. Back then, when I was performing the activities, well, to begin with, the reason that I became a doctor. I always was getting sick.
Your Honor.
Okay,
Excuse me,
Mr.
Mom.
Patterson?
I apologize terribly. I cannot make a record of this, Your Honor. I'm just being honest.
Okay, well, I am able to hear and understand the petitioner. So let me just ask him to speak a little bit more slowly, and
That
we'll
will
see
help.
if that solves the problem. Thank you, Mr. Nabat Mama. If you could just speak
Yeah.
very slowly, really enunciate all of the words, and hopefully that will help our court reporter make a record.
Yeah, even though that I was in California for past more than 33 years, I still have a very heavy accent from my country, of course. I couldn't get rid of my accent, unfortunately. To begin with, the reason that I became a chiropractor, I was getting sick very often when I was a child, and I always wanted to become a doctor and help the patients. And that's the reason that I really became a chiropractor. I was very anxious to help the patients, that I tried to condense my study as much as I could. I graduated from chiropractic college at age 21. I was probably one of the youngest doctors that ever graduated. Even before that, at age 20, like about a year before that, I started to work with another doctor. And then the other doctor was teaching me how to treat patients and everything, and I was working for him. So at age 20, pretty much, I started seeing patients pretty much, and I was trying to help the patients as much as I could. During the past case that we had, he mentioned that he performed, lots of illegal activities due to greed. But then my the illegal activity that I did perform doesn't
Your
really
Honor.
much comes from.
Yes, Mr. Patterson?
I don't know how best to say this. I apologize. And Mr. Nabat Mama, I'm just having a very hard time with, I know you can't help it. Your Honor, I'm tasked with getting every word, every syllable, and I just can't. I really can't. I have to, if I'm not making a record, I have to let you guys know that because I'm not doing my job. I really can't. I'm set that off the record. Okay.
Okay, so what was the last thing that you have, Mr. Patterson?
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Case that should be here. They mentioned that he performed a lot of illegal activities. There's just every fifth word is just missing, and I that's why I'm telling you I can't make a record of it.
Okay. So what I have in that sentence was, in the past case, they mentioned lots of illegal activities due to greed. And I believe that the petitioner was referring to the prior petition that we heard this morning.
Yes, Your Honor.
So let's see. Let's just, I suppose, go sentence by sentence and just take it slow and get through this. I don't have any other solution. If anyone else has one, I would be glad to hear it.
Your Honor, I would imagine that since we are recording the session, the gentleman that is doing the recording maybe can go back to the tape and listen to the tape, and maybe he can actually write the, thing out of the tape.
Mr. Patterson, are you allowed to use audio or visual recordings to create the record, or does it need to be live? I imagine that the audio is a version of the live. I just don't know what the court reporter rules are to that.
And in
I'm writing as
addition,
you speak.
my apologies,
Yes.
this is the moderator, but there is a closed caption feature in WebEx. And if you turn that on, I'm not sure if you have visibility of that, but that may be helpful. It does seem to be capturing the large majority of the speech in this proceeding.
This one actually, I have it
appreciate that,
on.
Madam. May we go off the record, Your Honor, or do you
Let's
want
go
to
off the
get all
record.
this on there?
Let's go off the
Thank you.
record. Okay.
Thank you.
What
Now I
can we do? Are the closed captions, is that going to be helpful to you, Mr. Patterson?
I would foresee a couple of problems with that. No, I don't think it will be helpful. I have had problems in the past where it was a thick accent, it was hard to understand. And we basically go and I would say what I thought I heard and would be confirmed by, say, the judge or the attorney in the room. I'm in my 20th year of doing this. This is not my first rodeo, Your Honor, so I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's tough for me to understand. I have to get every word. I can't just wait 4 words later and then it makes sense. Oh, that's what he said, because I'll have a hole in the record there. I've got to get every word as it comes out, because the minute I don't get one word, he keeps talking, there's a hole. And if I have to make a transcript of it, it's not acceptable, and I can't put my license in jeopardy to do this. I really can't. I mean, I will try. We can do it slowly, sentence by sentence, just very well paced, and I can do my best, but I need to be able to speak up in between. There's times he's talking so fast. If I talk, there's 3 words that have gone by, and it's very, very difficult.
Okay.
This is pushing my abilities.
Excuse me, Your Honor. This
Yes.
is Robert Pulio, the executive officer. I'm wondering if Mr. Nabat Mama, I don't know where you are, but is there a family member or somebody that you could have help interpret for you?
Unfortunately, I'm alone. There's nobody else in here.
Okay, I thought that might be a solution.
That's a great suggestion. Very good suggestion. But yeah, I wish we could.
We typically, in the hearings I've been part of, don't use family members. We usually have to use certified interpreters as well. So I think the best path forward might be to do it like a hearing with an interpreter, where we go sentence by sentence, and Mr. Patterson can let us know after each sentence if he did not hear what Mr. Nabat Mama had to say. Does that sound possible, Mr. Patterson? I
believe we can start there, Your Honor. That's a great start.
Okay. All right. Well, we will try that, and if it doesn't work, we will be creative and find a way to make it work. So, okay. Are we ready to go back on the record?
Okay.
Okay. It is 11:19 a.m. We went off the record briefly to address some challenges we are having in making an accurate record. So we are going to proceed by going sentence by sentence with Mr. Nabbit Mama's testimony. So, Mr. Nabbit Mama, I'm not sure how much Mr. Patterson was able to transcribe of what you said so far. So we might need to start from the beginning and just go sentence by sentence and slowly make a record.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
I apologize because of my accent, but unfortunately, I cannot do anything about it. As I was saying, originally, the reason that I became a doctor is because when I was a child, I was getting sick a lot, and I was going to doctors a lot, and I was seeing that the doctors are helping the patients. Ever since that I was a child, I wanted to become a doctor and help the patient. When it came to the time to choose which type of doctor I want to be, I was researching on pretty much all the fields. I find out that the chiropractor are the one that apparently help the patients the most in a natural way, and the best way that they can help the patient. So I decided that I want to become a chiropractor, and I was so anxious to become a chiropractor as fast as possible so I can help the patient as fast as possible that I condensed my study as much as I could, and I graduated from chiropractic college at age 21. I was probably one of the youngest doctor that ever graduated from the chiropractic college. Even before then, at age 20, about a year before then, at age 20, I started working with another doctor, and I was pretty much seeing the patient at age 20. I was trying to help the patient as much as I could. The other doctor was teaching me how to treat the patients and what to do, and how to run the practice. So I was seeing the patient at age 20. And that's how much I loved to become a doctor and help the patient. As I was saying, the previous case before me, he was mentioning performing illegal activities due to greed. Me performing illegal activities, even though that I know now that they are illegal, pretty much was not really due to greed. My performing illegal activity was due to I was trying to help the patients. I have two sets of basically I have two sets of different illegal activities. One illegal activity states that there were, I believe, about 6 patients that all belong to one attorney. And then they couldn't make it to they were coming to my office for treatments, and I was telling them to come to the office for treatment all the time. Usually I was telling the patient, come 5 times a week for a treatment at the beginning, and then we do a re-exam on you when you feel that you are better. And then like after 12 visits, I was usually doing a re-exam on the patient. And then I was telling them to come 3 times a week. And then after 12 visits, we do another re-exam. And then if they are better, then we do like 2 times a week or so on and so forth. And as soon as they are completely well, I would release the patient pretty much from the treatment. There was 6 patients that all belong to the same attorney, who was apparently doing a lot of illegal activity himself. I heard from other doctors to don't work with this attorney because he's at one point or another he's not going to pay you, so don't work with him. But as I said, I was not doing my job because of greed. I was doing my job because I wanted to help the patient. So I was treating the patient anyways, and I didn't really was paying attention whether I'm getting paid or not. In any event, this attorney was paying me at the beginning. But
I'm going to stop you, Mr. Nabbit Mama. You're starting to speed up as you talk, which a lot of people do, and we're
Yes,
telling a story. So I'm going to just probably have to keep reminding you just to really slow down so that our court reporter can make an accurate record. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Dr. Robert Pulio again. I was going to suggest that all of the board members and anybody else who's on camera turn off your cameras while the petitioner is speaking. That may help because they have a clearer connection so we don't have any distortion. Thank you.
Yes, doctor. Okay, so as I was saying, this particular attorney have not paid me on those 6 patients. And then pretty much what happened in here, apparently he told the patients to don't come to my office and just have them sign, that are coming for a treatment. And so then pretty much since I was trying to help the patient, that's what I did, which is, I understand it is illegal, and I really shouldn't have done that. I deeply, deeply, deeply regret that I did that. And ever since I pretty much voluntarily surrender my license, even before it get revoked, I was deeply, deeply regretted that I did that, and I promised myself that I never, ever, ever going to do that again. And that was about maybe 16, 17 years ago. And ever since then, I promised myself that I'm not going to do it, and I didn't do it. It took about 1 or 2 years before the board actually revoked my license anyways, and I was practicing during this time. I still did not do anything illegal after I surrendered, after I told the board that I did it and I'm not going to do it again. Now there was another set of patients that the board, so as I was telling you, that there are basically there are 2 different sets of crime that I committed. One was these 6 patients that I'm telling you about. And then there was, I think, another set. There were, I think, about 25 patients in there, which I actually gave them disability, temporary disability for DMV, DMV pretty much. These patients...
Excuse me, DMV?
DMV, Department of Motor Vehicle.
I apologize. Thank you.
And so then in here, they pretty much came to me and applied, for DMV disability placard. And pretty much I called DMV before I issued them any disability. I called DMV. I asked them, what are your criteria for issuing, temporary placard? Do I have to do a particular exam on this patient, or do I have to do anything particular on this patient before I give them, a disability? And the DMV told me, no, we don't have any particular criteria. Use your own discretion in order for you to give them the disability. And I said, okay. I never, ever, ever issued any permanent disability to anybody, including to my own dad, who was actually had polio when he was a child, and he did a surgery on his foot, and he had all his life, and still does. He has a metal rod on his leg, one of his legs. And he was asking me to issue him a permanent disability. I said, no. I said, I can give you maximum of 6 months of temporary disability, because I think technology is advancing. At one point and another, they might, discover a new procedure that they can take the metal rod out of your leg, and they do the surgery on your leg, or put a fake leg on you, and then you can walk normally. So then you are not disabled anymore. So I'm not going to give you a permanent disability. The maximum I issue you, I give you 6 months of disability. And after I told him that, he said he didn't come to me anymore. He went to a medical doctor, and a medical doctor issued him a permanent disability, and he still has his permanent disability on his car. I had another relative that came to me, who is cousin of my mother, and he had also the same problem. And I still did not give him a permanent disability. I still give him a 6 months disability. Now, many people think that the reason I issued these disabilities to this patient is because of the greed, as the previous meeting stated that. Pretty much I didn't do it because of a greed. Anybody that I issued, most of the people that's actually on that list are students in UCLA, and they were most of these students are medical students. They were carrying very, very heavy books with them, to the classes. And of course, they had a very severe back pain. I would imagine, because I was also carrying. I was in the chiropractic college, and I was carrying very, very heavy books myself. Like a gray anatomy was probably this big, a very heavy book, and we were carrying a heavy books with us. So then we had the back pain during the time I was myself in the student. And then what happens in here? DMV requires them to sign an application before they give them before the DMV issue the patient any handicap placard. They would require them to sign an application under penalty of perjury that they are telling the truth and nothing but the truth, and they are really disabled. I myself also give the students this piece of paper to sign, another piece of paper out of my own, that I believe my attorney has prepared this, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe I got some guideline.
I believe my attorney, a piece of paper, I believe my attorney.
I believe that the attorney wrote a piece of paper for me, or maybe he helped me to write it myself. And that piece of paper also was saying that I am telling the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury. And then I gave that piece of paper also to the patients that I was seeing before I issued them any handicap parking to sign as well. So then the patients, they're signing two pieces of paper, one from me, one from DMV, that are telling the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of perjury. And all the patients that I saw and are in that list that you have, I think there are about 25 patients, if I'm not mistaken, signed this piece of paper. And all the other patients that I had also were signing this piece of paper, including those 6 patients that we have on the other sets of accusation that I have. In here, and then pretty much what happened in here, one of these patients happened to be a reporter, a student in UCLA, and she was preparing a project for her final exam, and she wanted to prove that the doctors are lying. They don't supposed to issue any handicap parking. They are just faking it. They are not, they're supposed not to issue any handicap parking to anybody. And these patients are lying. They are not really handicapped. And she was claiming that herself, well, when she came to my office, I gave her that piece of paper under penalty of perjury that she's telling the truth and nothing but the truth. When she was filling out her file, she actually mentioned that she has pain and she's disabled, and under penalty of perjury, all of this, all the penalty of perjury that she signed, that she has pain, she has, she cannot perform, she's disabled, and then she has to be issued the handicap parking. My big mistake that I made was that I did not do very true examination to these patients. I did a very brief examination. I was counting on the patient that the patients are telling the truth and they are really disabled. But I should have really, since I've also, since beside the chiropractor, I was also a qualified medical examiner, qualified, QME, and I was an industrial medical evaluator, IDN. And pretty much I should have done very complete exam on these patients, but I did not. I just did a brief exam on this patient and I issued them a temporary handicap. Most of these temporary handicap were 3 months handicap. And many people think that I did this because of money, because I wanted to charge the patient a lot of money. Since these patients were students, I didn't charge them much of a money. I did it really because I wanted to help the students. So I issued them a 3 months handicap parking. I told them, so then since you are carrying very heavy books and you are in lots of pain, apparently due this heavy, carrying these heavy books and you want to park in handicap parking, that's why you are coming to me to apply for handicap parking because you are on pain. I give you only a temporary handicap, so then you can actually go shorter distance to your school. And so then during this time, I want you to come and get treatment from me. And you can come to get treatment from me during, like, let's say 3 months handicap that I was issuing to you. I want you to come, and some people I gave them 6 months. They want that. I think somebody had a cast on his leg. I gave him 6 months handicap. Somebody else, I think, had a metal rod. Perhaps I gave him 6 months handicap.
Somebody had a what?
Somebody had a metal rod in his leg, as far as I remember, and I gave him 6 months handicap. The one that were more severe handicap, I gave them 6 months. The one that were, I felt that they are lightly handicapped, I gave them only 3 months. In any event, so the maximum handicap I gave them was 6 months. I never issued any permanent handicap to anybody. Maximum I gave them was 6 months. Most of the patients, I believe, were 3 months handicap. I told them during these 3 months or 6 months, I want them to come and get treatment from me as much as they can. I charge most of these patients only $150 for 3 months of treatment. That comes, if the patient was coming to me every day, I don't know how much does it come to, about $1 per treatment, So I didn't really charge them any money, for treatment. I even give them free exam. I charge them I charge them $150 for treatment, and I gave them free exam. So I didn't charge them anything for the exam. I didn't charge them anything for issue them the handicap. I just charged them for the treatment, and I charged them only a small amount of money because these people are students, which is $150 is really nothing. Most chiropractors charge $150 per session. I charge them $150 for 3 months or 6 months of treatment. So I think the one that there's 6 months of treatment, I charge them $300. So I charge them $50 per month of treatment, pretty much. In here, so my reason for performing illegal activity was not really greed. My reason for performing illegal activity was to help the patients. In here, the student that was a reporter turned around, turned the camera on me. They put me on 2020, I think 2020 in the TV, saying that I'm performing, illegal activity. I am actually issuing everybody that has pain or not pain, disability, which is not really true because she herself also signed a piece of paper under penalty of perjury that she does have a loss of pain. That's why she's disabled, and I did a, as I told you, brief examination. I give her treatment even also. But then later she on the video that she made, she said that, oh no, I never told the doctor that I have a pain, and that's not true. I can show you if I can find her file. I can show you her file. I believe back then when on the first time that I came to hearing like this, I did show the the board the file. in any event, I know that I did what I did was illegal because I really should have done really a complete exam on these patients before issuing any disabilities, and I didn't do it, and I failed to do it, and I very much deeply regretted that I did that, and that's about 16, 17 years ago when I actually voluntarily surrendered my license to the board. The reason I voluntarily surrendered my license to the board, and I didn't really want to do that because I wanted to continue treating the patients and helping the patients. I was helping many, many patients. I was treating many, many patients.
Slow down, please.
Pardon me?
I think
say slow
Mr.
down, please.
Patterson asked you to slow down.
Yes, Your Honor. So I was back then. I didn't want to really voluntarily surrender my license. I wanted to continue treating patients, as I was treating many, many patients, and many, many patients liked the way that I was treating them. They were getting better. They wanted me to continue treating them. They were referring many, many other patients to me to treat them. I was probably the only doctor that was making house calls to some of the patients because the patients were in so much pain. They couldn't make it to my office. As far as I know, no other doctors was offering house call to the patients. They were telling the patient, oh, you cannot come to my office. Good luck. We cannot come to your home. I was going to their home, even though that I was not making much of a money. I was going to the home of the patients. I was making house call to the patients, and I was treating the patients because I
Excuse
love.
me, Your Honor.
Okay, who spoke?
This is Dr. Adams.
Okay.
I apologize. I may be overstepping my bounds here, but I think that a lot of these things that are being reviewed are already facts that are accepted. And with all due respect to, the petitioner, I think the question that you asked was relative to his rehabilitative efforts. And I think that, we're already having an issue with the transcriptionist, the court reporter. I mean, I think we need to focus our comments. And again, tell me if I'm out of bounds here. I'm only been on the board a little over a year, but it seems that this has gone on quite a bit, and we're reviewing a lot of things that are already on the record. I think we should focus on rehabilitative efforts and get to our questioning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for speaking up, Dr. Adams. The focus of this hearing is rehabilitation, Mr. Mama. So if you could focus your testimony on that.
Yes, Your Honor. As I mentioned, ever since I voluntarily, the reason that I voluntarily surrendered my license was because I didn't have enough money to pay for the attorney to represent me, really. What happened in here before I voluntarily surrendered my license, I asked my attorney what is the best case scenario and what is the worst case scenario. He told me the best case scenario is that you pay somewhere around $50,000 to $100,000 on attorney fees, and then you win the case and you stay in the practice, which is really, that's what I wanted to do because I was helping a lot of patients. What is the worst case scenario is that you are going to lose your license, and then the board is going to be angry at you, and are going to file a criminal, God forbid, complaint against you, and then God forbid, they put people in jail because of that, as the previous doctor also apparently was in jail for a short time.
Okay, so Mr. Nabat Mama, I'm gonna interrupt you because I feel like we're still kind of focusing on the discipline and the focus of this hearing. We have all of the prior orders and decisions. The focus of this hearing is on the rehabilitation. So what have you done since your license was revoked?
Right.
So if we could kind of fast forward to that, I think that would be the most relevant testimony to provide.
Yes, Your Honor. So then in here, okay, so then after I voluntarily, as I mentioned, as I voluntarily surrendered my license because I didn't have attorney fee, I pretty much, very much was regretted that I did this. And I promised myself I'm never, ever, ever going to do this again. I'm not going to do any illegal activity anymore. I'm not going to do anything ethical anymore. I'm going to do very complete exam on every single patient just to make sure that the patient is telling the truth and nothing but the truth. And I'm still going to, perform my, my practice to the best of my knowledge and ability I can to help the patient. Pretty much back then, about 16, 17 years ago, I was just rehabilitated right there. Ever since then, also, I became more religious. And as I became more religious, I find out that whatever I performed is not only against the laws of United States, it is also against my religious law. And so, therefore, now I have a double prohibition against illegal activity. And so then pretty much I decided not to do it. And as you have in the package that I submitted to the board as evidence, you see many clergymen's recommendation for me because they taught me not to do it. And in the recommendation that they gave to the board, it states that we don't think that this guy is going to do it because he's religious and he's not going to, do anything that is against the religious and against the law. Now, in here, I have also pretty much I was still at top of things as I was pretty much I think I was pretty much trying to get my my classes, my review classes every year as I was taking it as I was licensed, because every time at the time I was licensed, I was every once a year, according to law, we supposed to go to a seminar to renew our license, and then during that seminar, they were reviewing everything that we learned during the school. And even after my license got revoked, I continue. I think during first couple of years, I didn't go to. During first 2 or 3 years, I think I didn't go to. I didn't go to any review. I didn't go to any renew class. But then afterward,
I didn't go to any of the what? I didn't go to any of the what?
Any of the renewal license classes.
Thank you.
Any class, yeah, any classes for renewal of license. But then afterward, I think it was after my hearing that I covered. I went to many classes to cover for those 2 or 3 years that I didn't go to class. And then ever since then, I was going to at least one class, one class one seminar, which belongs to the people that for renewal of the license. I was going to at least one class a year, like as if I was licensed, pretty much. So I continued doing my classes. And since we were very strong in philosophy in chiropractic, and I believe in chiropractic, I was a patient of other chiropractors ever since then on a regular basis. I went to many of my classmates, my friends, have them treat me on a chiropractic because I believe that chiropractic helps patients. And so I was a patient myself. And so I was also voluntarily working for many chiropractors as well. I was under other chiropractors license, you can actually perform certain activities such as physical therapy to the patient.
Such as what?
Such as
Cervical.
physiotherapy to the patient.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Under medical doctor, you can actually work and also give physical therapy to the patients as well. So I was, voluntarily working for other doctors. I was watching them, treating the patients. sometimes if the doctor, trying to adjust me, couldn't adjust me very well, I was teaching them how to set up on the adjustments. Some of the doctors, apparently I was a kind of better doctor than other doctors pretty much on some certain basis because I practiced for about 10 years, I think. And so then some instances I was more experienced than other doctors, so I was teaching them how to do it. Of course, there are many doctors that were better than me also when they treated me. And so that I was trying to help other doctors as well. So I pretty much stayed fresh during all this time, even though that it has been about 16, 17 years that I did not practice, but I stayed fresh because I let other doctors to treat me, and then pretty much I was performing any treatment that was legal to perform under other doctors' licenses. And so then pretty much I did lots of rehabilitation. As I told you, I became more religious as well, more spiritual as well. And then so then I pretty much I'm not going to perform any illegal activity at all, because not only against the law, is also against the my religion. As you saw during the package, I think this is like a last page of the package. It shows that my credit score was 850 during many years. This is like maybe for one full year is 850, as you can see, last year until October of this. Until October of this year. And my credit score was 850 for many years. I think
excuse me, October of this year, and my
credit score was 850, which is a perfect credit score during past many years. I think I lost a few points here and there occasionally, like because I applied for a credit card at one point or another, and I lost, I think, 7 points at that time. But then it went back to 850 again, very shortly. But pretty much it was 850 during all these years, pretty much. And so that actually shows that I am very good at paying my bills, doing everything as legal as possible. Even pretty much I did everything to the as much as I was able to the point that I want to make sure that what I'm doing is legal and correct, and according to my religion is correct, and according to the law is correct. I was trying to make sure everything is as correct as possible to the best of my knowledge and ability. During on the package, you will see that I did see also a neuropsychological evaluation by Dr. Judy Ho, who did an evaluation on me, and she.
Please wait.
Spell her name.
Please, before you mention it, before the name, just start that sentence over, please.
Right. In the package, you will see that I have been that I had a neuropsychological evaluation. Neuropsychological evaluation by Dr. Judy Ho, spelled Judy, and last name spelled Ho, which is a very good doctor. And then she mentions that I have been, evaluated by her, and she mentioned that pretty much I got rehabbed because of the trauma that I had, because of losing of my license, of course, and other, other stuff that I had. So she mentions that I got, pretty much rehabbed, pretty much, and so then that's what she mentioned on his evaluation. Before I see her, I had some session of treatment also with Dr. Pakdaman, who is also.
Excuse me, Your Honor, and
Yes.
Mr. Nabat Mama. I just want to ask that in an effort of efficiency of time, that we start to wrap this up. It seems that we're getting a little bit off of our task here a little bit, and we understand that all of that information is in the packet as well.
Yes,
Thank you, Dr. Mclean. So I just want to remind you, like I said before, Mr. Nabat Mama, that the board has had the benefit of seeing all the materials in your packet. You do not need to restate the information that's in your packet. So if you have anything, any sort of rehabilitative material that is not included in your packet, particularly those after your last petition for reinstatement, those are what we need to highlight.
Yes, Your Honor. Okay, so then Mr. Curtis, I believe that was also present during my last session. He asked me, if you are rehabilitated, why did you lie in your application for real estate license and other licenses, I guess. I guess he was asking particular about real estate license. Why did you lie that you didn't lose your license? I mean, he asked me originally, did you stated in your application that you lose your chiropractic license? And I said, I don't remember, but I don't think so. But then he showed me that I did say that I didn't lose my license. And
I didn't lose my license.
That I didn't lose my license.
Didn't lose my license. Thank you.
And then he told me, I have to say to, if I really rehabilitated, I have to really tell to these people, I should have told the truth to these people. And pretty much I should tell the truth also to these people that I lost my license. So then pretty much I called up the places that I got licenses, and I got several licenses after I lost my chiropractic license, including security license, which shows that, I didn't do anything illegal during past 16, 17 years at all. That's why they issued me a security license.
Mr. Patterson, what was the last thing you heard?
The chiropractic license, including security license, which shows that including the security license, which shows that
I didn't do anything illegal during past many years, as beside whatever I did, when I lost my license during chiropractic. But then ever since then, I did not do anything illegal during past many years. That's why they issued me a security license, which is very sensitive license. They check all of your background before they issue a security license, because everybody's private information, everybody's money, everything is in your hand. Pretty much everybody's life is in your hand. All of their money, all the private information is in your hand. And they can, a smallest thing that a security license person does that is illegal, he can steal millions and millions of dollars from people. And so then they issued me the security license, and I still have the security license and other licenses as well that I got. It shows that I didn't do anything illegal. Because if I was doing something illegal, they would have taken all of these licenses from me, of course. Now, in here, as I was mentioning, Mr. Curtis asked me last time, did you mention in your application that you lose your license? And I said, I don't remember, but I don't think so. And then he showed me that I did.
I'm going to stop you, Mr. Nabat Mama. You already testified about the question that was asked and the answer that you gave. So we will need to move on to the next point. And if we could wrap it up, I think you've had a pretty thorough opportunity to testify about your rehabilitation.
Right. In any event,
can we make that wrap up within the next 2 minutes, please, to Mr. Nabat Mama?
Yes, Your Honor, I'll try my best because I speak slowly. That's why it's more difficult. If I was talking faster, then of course it would be more easier to wrap it up. In here, Mr. Curtis recommended me to mention to other licenses that I lost my chiropractic license. Pretty much I called other licenses and I told them, yes, I lost my chiropractic license. Whatever answer I wrote in that application is wrong. If I told you that I didn't lose my license, I did lose my chiropractic license. So I did mention it to them. And then pretty much they still renewed my license. So they didn't have problem with that because they checked my background. They find out everything is okay. Now, the reason that I did mention in that application that I didn't lose my license, because even though that I surrendered my license to the board, still the board did not revoke my license until I think 1 or 2 years later. So at the time I was filling out the application for the other licenses, so I was telling the truth. I didn't lose my license yet. But in any event, I did tell them that eventually I did lose my license, and so they know about it. They know that I lost my license. So even though if it is not the truth, is still okay because they know about it now. I was trying to appeal the last session because of this, but then the board didn't allow me to appeal it. I don't know why, but they should have really allowed me to appeal it. Because they did not issue my license because they're telling me that you lied in your other licenses. And that's not the case. But anyways, I let them know anyways. So then they know it, and so everything is completely pretty much solved if that's the problem. And I want my license back really because I want to treat the patients. I really want to treat the patients. I truly can help many, many, many patients. I beg you. I make a house call to the patients. I was going to rehabilitation center. I was going to old people facilities.
Mr. Nabat, I think we are at noon, so I think we are done with your testimony, and we are going to move on to Mr. Curtis's questions.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Nabat Mama, on your application for reinstatement, your petition for reinstatement, you checked a box stating the question was whether you're on probation or parole for any other criminal or administrative violation. You said yes, but I didn't see any documentation about that. Are you currently on any type of probation for any license issue or criminal matter?
Well, that was a very tricky question that the board puts on the application. And every time, as far as I remember, every time I was in a hearing like this, you asked me that question. I think at one point or another, I answered no to that. You said, why did you say no? You have a revoked license, chiropractic license. So you should have answered yes. Then now you are asking me, why did I answer yes? While I don't have any criminal activity. Yes, I answered yes because I have a revoked chiropractic license. So it's a kind of tricky question. I have a revoked chiropractic license because of the criminal activity. And that's the only criminal activity I had. That's it. I have nothing else.
Okay, so you're not currently on probation or parole?
Well, I am on a probation on the chiropractic license. My chiropractic license is revoked, so I'm on the probation from chiropractic. I cannot perform any chiropractic treatment on the patient.
Okay. Do you have any pending criminal or civil matters against you?
Besides chiropractic license, no.
You have a well. Let me ask you about the handicap applications, the parking permit applications.
Yes.
My impression was when you said that you didn't do a full exam of the patient, you just did a very brief exam, that you didn't take it very seriously because it was just for a parking permit. Is that a fair characterization, or is that not fair?
The reason that I didn't take it seriously is because I called DMV and I asked them, do you do a particular exam on this patient? Do you do a complete exam on this patient? Or is there any particular about, before I issue them any disability, is there any particular that you want me to be concerned about? They said, no. You just use your own discrimination, I guess, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. And just use your own discrimination pretty much. So that they didn't want me to do anything particular. Since they didn't want me to do anything particular, as soon as the patient signed something that are telling the truth under penalty of perjury, and they were stating that they are disabled and they have to park in a handicap parking because they are disabled, they are not able to walk a long distance to reach their school. Then it was for me good enough, to issue them handicap parking because I was under the impression that they are telling the truth. I did a brief exam on them still anyways, just to make sure. But then later on, I find out that I should have really done a complete exam.
Mr. Don, let me stop you. I'll do some follow-up questions. Let's just try to keep the answers short for me, okay? We're running short on time.
Yes.
I think what you're trying to say is that DMV had told you to use your own discretion.
Correct.
So keeping that in mind, even if you're allowed to use your own discretion, do you believe that a cursory or a brief exam is sufficient to make a determination as to disability for a patient?
At that moment, that's what I was thinking. But after I did it, I deeply regretted, as I was telling you, I deeply regretted that I did that. I really should have done a very complete exam on this patient and make sure that these patients are telling the truth. Even though that they signed something on the penalty of perjury that they are telling the truth, I should have really done a complete exam on them, make sure that they are, telling the truth. So what I did was mistake. Of course, it was a big mistake. And it is illegal what I did. I should have really done, complete exam.
So
and I regretted it.
There's also concerns about documentation and patient files and billing. Given the variety of the prior conduct, what assurances can you give to the board today that you would be safe to practice if you were given a license?
Well, as you see in the file, is only 6 patients that this happened to, and I was telling you that those belong to the certain. Only one attorney actually was sending me that patient, and he was instructing the patient to do that. And I was telling you, I did it because I was trying to help the patient. Really, I was not doing it for the money, really. But then in any event, after I did it, as I told you, as I surrendered my license, I deeply regretted that I did it. And I know that it is illegal that I did it. And I promised myself that I'm never going to do it. And then, as I told you, I became also more religious. And my, clergymen that are teaching me the religion told me, don't do it. This is wrong. This is against the religion. So then in here, since I'm very more religious guy, and I very much regretted this. About 16, 17 years passed ever since then, by the way. And then we have a lots of recommendation letters from the clergymen also and other professions.
So I'm going to interrupt you, Mr. Nabat Mama. We don't need you to repeat any of the prior testimony you've given. So you've testified about your religious experiences since your license discipline. You've testified about the letters from your clergy. So if you could just limit your answers to exactly what Mr. Curtis is asking you.
Yes, as you can see, during past 16, 17 years.
Mr. Nabat Mama, let me ask you another question. And I know we're having a conversation and you really want to respond to it, but really focus on slowing down.
Yes.
I understand everything you're saying, but when people talk fast, the court reporter just can't keep up, period, with anybody. And I'm guilty of it too. Hang on. I want to follow up on something. When you were talking about those particular 6 patients, you'd mentioned that the attorney said it told him to just stop coming, and you'd said you wanted to help the patient. And so how I understood that was you were signing off on visits when the patients weren't coming. And if that's the case, how did you conclude that that was somehow helping the patient when they're not coming in for treatment?
Well, to finish your last question, during past 16, 17 years, you see that I did not conducted any illegal activity at all.
Mr. Nabat Mama, if you could answer Mr. Curtis's current question, that would be helpful. Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. The way that I was thinking that it would help the patient is that their case, they were car accident cases, all of them, personal injury cases, car accident cases. If I was writing for them that they came for a treatment, their case would settle for higher amount of money and they would get more money. So that's why that's the way I was thinking I'm helping the patient. But after I did it and I thought about it and I regretted it, I was thinking that doesn't help the patient, because in here I am helping them to perform an illegal activity, and I should not help the patient to do illegal activity, and I shouldn't do illegal activity myself, and I shouldn't help the attorney to do any illegal activity either. And so I regretted it, and I'm not going to do it again. And as we can see, still during past 17 years, I didn't do anything illegal.
I want to ask you about your appointments or your visits with Dr. I think it's Pactaman, Pakdaman. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Dr. Pactaman.
Correct.
From what I could tell, is you started seeing him in 2012, and it looks like you saw him, I believe, 10 times. When was the last time you saw Dr. Pactaman?
I don't remember, but it should be in the packet.
Okay. Have you seen him within the last couple of years?
No. I saw a different Dr. Pactaman who is actually his relative, and he's close to me. I see him. He's a medical doctor. I see him like once a year for a medical examination, almost pretty much.
And
that reminds me of him pretty much. Then I see him.
Are you currently attending any type of counseling or therapy?
Not really.
Okay. One of the things that you'd said that, and you discussed being more involved with your religion, and that your synagogue has helped you understand the ways in which your actions have affected others. And my question is, were you not able to understand how your actions affected others before you became more involved with your synagogue?
Well, when you are not religious, you feel more freedom because you are not bound with any religious law. So you perform whatever you like to do, really. But when you become more religious, then you are bound by your religious law and what God wants you to do. And so then even if you are making tons and tons and tons of money by doing something illegal, and God tells you, no, don't do it, it is against your religion, then you are bound with whatever God tells you to do. And so then you are not doing it. Then it's not important for you whether you make more money or not. It's just important for you what God tells you. And since I'm very, very religious, it is very important for me that God told me not to perform any illegal activity and not to do, don't steal any money from insurance company, and don't issue any handicap parking to people who are not handicapped and are lying. And so then I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to do anything illegal. I'm not going to do anything that is against my religious law.
Would you agree
to the best of my knowledge, ability.
Hang on. Would you agree that you don't have to be religious to obey the laws regarding everyday citizenship, and in particular relating to a profession?
That's true. But when you are more religious, that gives you double boundary, because because then you are not only bound with the citizenship and the laws of the land, you are also bound by the religious law. And so then this gives you double protection to don't perform anything that is not ethical or illegal.
From what I can tell, it looks like all of your kids now are at least teenagers. Is that accurate?
Correct.
So they're a little bit older now. Have you shared your experiences as far as what happened with having your license revoked?
Yes, of course.
Okay. With your kids, all three of them?
Of course.
Have you shared your experiences with any employers?
I didn't have much of employers, but I did share my experiences with my other colleagues in other jobs, and also in the chiropractic jobs. Yeah, I did share my experiences with my other friends and colleagues and other people. Yes.
Have you worked in any chiropractic setting since having your license revoked?
Yes.
Okay. And when was the last time you worked in a chiropractic setting?
As I mentioned earlier, I am pretty much working with many chiropractors here and there. and I do see a chiropractor myself because I need to get treatments, a chiropractic treatment myself. So pretty much I see chiropractors sometimes like once a week, like sometimes more than once a week. I see some of my colleagues in the temple that I go for prayer every day. I go for prayer. I have, according to our religion law, we have to pray 3 times 3 times a day during the regular days, and during holidays even more than 3 times a day. So I go to prayer and I pray at least 3 times a day, and I go to temple every day, pretty much as I can, except for.
Hang on. Let me stop you real quick. Aside from personally obtaining treatment or meeting up with people you know to be chiropractors, have you done any volunteer work or any hands-on work in a chiropractic office in the last 5 years?
Yes.
Okay. And when was the last time you did that?
I think I saw my chiropractor like it was maybe about a few weeks ago. I saw him, and pretty much I was volunteer over there as well. And I was not only the patient, I was also the volunteer, and I worked for him.
Okay. And how often do you volunteer with him?
As often as I see him, like as I said, I usually see the chiropractor once a week. I get the chiropractic treatment, and I volunteer part of my time and do some treatment on the patient as well.
Have any of the continuing education classes you've taken, have any of those in the last 2 or 3 years been in person?
I believe that all of my all of my seminars were in person until chiropractic board, I think, added 12 hours to the, because originally it was, you have to have 12 hours of continuing education to get your license renewed. And then at one point or another, I think the board added 12 hours. And I believe that they told us that those 12 hours doesn't have to be in person, if I'm not mistaken. And then so pretty much all of my sessions were in person.
Moment, please. You just broke up. Wait a moment.
I see. All of my sessions were in person, pretty much, until it became legal for you to take some of the sessions without being present. And of course, during the COVID, I couldn't go to seminar in person. So, we had a seminar pretty much, in a Zoom and stuff. And so, but the rest of my sessions were all in person, pretty much.
Is it your intention, if you were to be granted a license, your license were to be reinstated in any capacity, is it your intent to open your own office? What is your goal if that were to occur?
Originally, I would imagine if I get my license, God willing, back, I would start by working with other chiropractors and have them supervise me for a while. So then just to make sure that I'm doing everything correctly. And, just to make sure that also.
Mr. Patterson, what was the last thing you heard?
Have them supervise.
I want to
go ahead.
I want to make sure that I'm supervised by other doctors for a while until I make sure that I am pretty much up to their speed and I'm doing everything correctly. And after I am 100% sure that I am doing everything correctly and I'm up to their speed with other chiropractors, then I am planning to open up my own office, God willing.
When you advised the other licensing boards about your chiropractic license being revoked, did any of the licensing boards do any type of investigation or follow up to you regarding the circumstances?
I believe that the real estate board and insurance board, they did some investigation and they still let me continue practicing. because they didn't find any illegal activity during past 16, 17 years ever since that my chiropractic license has been revoked.
Okay, Mr. Nabat Mama, I believe those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
Okay, so we now move on to the board. I'll start with Dr. Mclean.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Paris.
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Cruz.
No questions.
Dr. Adams.
Just in the interest of time, just one really, I have a lot of things written down here, but I'll just keep it brief. Just real quick, Mr. Nabat, you had stated earlier when you were talking and testifying questions about Dr. Curtis asking you about your statements on your real estate license and how you felt that you were denied an appeal or something to that effect. I just wanted to ask you, so reviewing the record, you agreed to a stipulated surrender of your license on September 22nd, 2004.
Correct.
Okay. The reference to those statements on real estate license occurred in January 5th, 2005, January 24th, 2005, and again on October 18th, 2007, when you were asked if you had, under penalty of perjury, the question about any previous discipline. You stated earlier that you felt that that was inaccurate, that your license had not been revoked yet, but you were still in the investigation period. Clearly from the record here, the facts are that your license had been revoked approximately 3 months prior to these attestations on your real estate license. Now that you have the facts in front of you, what is your statement as to the fact that you were not very clear about that, and understanding that that really was a violation of the surrender of your license, that you should have disclosed that? And second follow-up is that any other licenses that you've got, have you disclosed that you have had your license as a chiropractor revoked?
As I was, would you repeat the end of this question one more time?
Well,
Dr. Adams, let's start with the first question. We generally do one question at a time rather than
Okay.
questions.
Sounds good. The first question, based on the facts I just presented to you, that your license, you agreed and signed a stipulated revocation of your license in 2004, yet the statements on the real estate license and applications for your real estate license broker, and then later a broker license in 2007, you were actually your license had been revoked.
As far as I remember, well, of course, this has been about 16, 17 years ago, so my memory is kind of vague on those. As far as I remember, when I originally filled out the license, filled out the
Excuse me, Your
application.
Honor. I found that.
Okay, let's repeat everything after I found that.
They.
Right, well,
Yes.
originally, when I was filling out those application, what I was saying in here, this belongs to this, we are talking about 16, 17 years ago, when my license got revoked. So my memory on this,
I understand that, but you filled out, your license had been revoked 3 months. So I understand we're 16 years later now, but your license had been revoked 3 months prior to you filling out that document.
was it before?
So when you filled out that document, I have to believe that you had it pretty fresh in your mind that you had your license revoked and had agreed to that 3 months prior.
Was it that on the first application that I filled out for real estate license?
January 5th, right in front of me, 2005.
Was it the first application I filled out for license, or was it the second time?
That's what you provided. That's what you provided to the board. So if there's another license you filled out, I'm not aware of it.
Okay, I have I have many licenses on real estate. Well, originally, before you become a broker in real estate, you have to become an agent.
Okay, you know what? That's all right. I think I've got. I'm gonna just ask one final question, and that is that when you worked for these doctors, I'm assuming medical doctor. I think you said medical doctor. I think you used the statement many doctors that you volunteered with, medical doctor and chiropractors. You said that you performed PT, physical therapy procedures in their offices that you were allowed to do as an unlicensed individual. Is that correct? You stated that?
Correct.
Yes or no?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you disclose to any of those patients that you worked on that you had a revoked chiropractic license?
I disclosed to the doctor that I was working with that I have a revoked chiropractic license.
Did your doctor
But I what?
inform the patient?
But I what?
I think, Mr. Nabat Mama, if you could repeat your answer to Dr. Adams' question. You disclosed to the doctor, I believe?
I disclosed to the doctors that I was working with that my chiropractic license has been revoked, and so that I don't have any license. That's what I told them.
So yes or no, did you disclose to any patients that you worked on and performed physical therapy procedures on that you had a revoked license?
I don't know whether the doctor himself disclosed.
No, did you? Yes or no, did you?
No, I disclosed it to the. Well, I don't. If the patient asked me, yes, I did tell them. But then,
did any patients ask you?
If the patient didn't ask me, since I disclosed this to the doctor that I was working with, I didn't see that it's necessary for me to also tell the patient, really.
Okay.
Because I think the doctor himself also disclosed to the patient that the person that's working with them is not licensed. He's the one that licensed, pretty much.
Final question. Since your revocation of your license, have you performed any chiropractic adjustments on any individuals, including your children, family, or anyone else?
As far as I know, no. I mean, like,
I'm not yet. Yes or no? Have you performed any chiropractic adjustments on anyone since the revocation of your license? Yes or no?
Well, about 16, 17 years ago, I was performing adjustment on my children and family.
Since the revocation.
Since your revocation. So I believe that, what was that? September 2004. So since that date.
Have you performed any chiropractic adjustments?
That I don't remember, because I remember like about 16, 17 years ago, I was treating my family. Now I don't remember whether it was after my license was revoked or before or after. I don't remember. But then it has been a long time that I did not, perform any chiropractic.
So in the last 5 years, you've not adjusted anybody. There would be nobody that would present evidence before this board that you have adjusted them.
I don't think so.
You don't think so, or you know, yes or no?
I don't think so. I mean, like, as far as I remember.
Thank you. Thank you, doctor. No further questions.
All right, Dr. Daniels.
They've been addressed. No questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Sweet.
No questions. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the petition hearing in this matter. The case is submitted and the record is closed. We are off the record in this matter. And Dr. Mclean, how much time do you want between this petition and the next?
Actually, if we can push forward, I'd like to just go ahead because we'll have to break after that to go into closed session. So as long as the court reporter can give you the information that's needed, just as that amount of time going off the record, if we can come right back on, that would be great.
Okay. Mr.
Thank you, Honor. Thank you, doctors.
Thank you, Petitioner. You may be excused. Mr. Patterson.
Yes.
Are you able to move into the next petition? What do you need before we do that?
I need to close out this file, and it'll take 3-4 minutes, 3-4 minutes, just a moment to do it.
Okay, so we are at 12:29. So let's, by 12:33, we should be good to go. So if anyone needs to do any bathroom breaks, now's your time.
And Your Honor, one thing,
Yes.
I have a hearing at 1:30 that I'm responsible to cover. I didn't know this was going to run late. Can I call my office maybe, or what should we do? Can we guarantee I'll be done by 1:20?
If you could call your office.
I don't mean to put you on the spot, but I need to let my office know I can't cover it. I'm going to stay with you, or I need to leave you, which I don't think you want me to do.
No, I mean, we need you. I just
Yes.
I have a responsibility to give every petitioner due process, and I just can't change somebody because they're at the end of the list.
I understand that, Your Honor. How about, may I call my office and let them inform the next hearing that I'm going to be late?
Yes, let's go with that, because we don't know how long it'll take.
Okay, so
The next one will be shorter, but yeah.
we don't know. It's 12. We'll start by, yeah. So
Okay,
I'll start
please
as
call
soon as
Mr.
possible.
Patterson.
Yes.
Dr.
Let
Mclean.
me go ahead and mute you.
I was just
Thank
going to
you.
say, so can we just call them, take the 2 minutes? Let's move forward, please.
And this is the moderator. I've muted Mr. Patterson's line so he can call his office, and we will be back at 12:33.
Okay. Present.
Yes, thank you.
Dr. Paris.
Present.
Ms. Cruz.
Present?
Ms. Cruz, was that you?
Yes, present.
Thank you. Dr. Adams.
Present.
Dr. Daniels.
Present.
Mr. Sweet.
Present.
Mr. Curtis. Mr. Patterson?
I'm here, Judge.
Okay, so that was Mr. Curtis. Mr. Patterson.
I've sent Mr. Patterson a request to unmute his microphone, although I realize he may
Fisher.
still be on communicating with his office as well.
And do we have the next petitioner as a participant with the video and audio working?
I have just been informed that he is having issues. He is in the audience, so will move him to the participants list, although if he's having issues, that may not help.
Okay.
And Mr. Kim has logged out and will log back in. Hopefully that will solve his issues.
Let me just check again. Is Mr. Patterson present?
I show he is still muted.
I guess somebody muted me. So yeah, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Mr. Patterson. Are you present and able to continue working until?
Until it's over.
Okay, excellent.
Hopefully sooner rather than later, but yes, I'm here.
Understood. We are all going to try to work efficiently. We've had some technical challenges that slowed us down, but we are going to work through it and ensure that Mr. Kim gets the same due process that we have offered every other petitioner.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Philip Kim, I'm going to send you a request to unmute your microphone if you could do a sound check with us.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, we can hear you, Mr. Kim. I can't see you, and it is the board's preference that you appear on video. Okay, I can see you now. All right. I have checked it off. We have Mr. Patterson. Are we ready to go, Mr. Patterson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. We are here today in the matter of the petition for reinstatement of revoked license filed by Philip Jongwon Kim. This matter is being heard before the Board of Chiropractic Examiners, Department of Consumer Affairs. A quorum of the board is present. I am an administrative law judge with the Office of Administrative Hearings assigned to preside over this matter. The agency case number is AC 2013-949. OAH case number 2021110531. May I please take appearance of the Deputy Attorney General?
Seth Curtis from the Office of the Attorney General, appearing pursuant to Government Code 11522.
Okay, and we have Mr. Kim present and representing himself. So, Mr. Kim, I don't know if you heard the earlier pro se instructions, but I will repeat them for you. In this proceeding, the board is concerned with hearing about any rehabilitation since your license was disciplined. First, Mr. Curtis will present your petition package and provide a background in this matter. After that, you will have an opportunity to make your presentation. I want to remind you that the board has had the opportunity to review your petition package, so you do not need to restate the materials within it. But after you have given your presentation, both Mr. Curtis and the board members may ask you some questions. After the hearing, the board will go into closed session to deliberate. You will not receive a decision today. It will be mailed in the near future. Do you have any questions, Mr. Kim?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Curtis, if you could please present the petition summary.
Thank you, Judge. I would ask to offer for identification and offer into evidence the petition packet that was submitted by Mr. Kim to the board. The petition packet includes the prior decision and order in case number 2013-949 and includes approximately 31 pages of CLE certificates from Mr. Kim, a statement regarding the surrender, a copy of a credential verification for an out-of-state license in Washington, a copy of the accusation in case number 2013-949, a copy of the stipulated surrender of license and order, and the decision and order in case number 2013-949, along with the proof of service and notice of hearing.
Okay. Mr. Kim, do you have any objection to your petition packet being admitted into evidence as Exhibit 1?
No, I don't.
Thank you. Exhibit 1 is admitted into evidence.
By way of background, the board issued petitioner his chiropractic license on October 12 of 1995. In November of 2013, petitioner's chiropractic license, and in that particular case, the corporation certificate issued to Philip Kim Chiropractic Center, Inc., were surrendered following a stipulated surrender of his license. The underlying accusation alleged that petitioner had engaged in acts involving moral turpitude, dishonesty, and/or corruption, and that petitioner had prepared or caused to be prepared false and fraudulent patient records and billing claims that related to a patient named BK between October 25 of 2007 through January 18 of 2018. Petitioner was also alleged to have falsely represented the existence of a state of facts and engaged in fraud or misrepresentation. In the surrender, petitioner admitted to the truth of the allegations and that the surrender would be considered a record of discipline for any petition hearing.
Okay. Is that it, Mr. Curtis?
That is it.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Kim, we now move over to you for your portion of the hearing. Before you begin to testify, I need to swear you in. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury that the testimony you will provide in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. So now you may provide your testimony. I just want to remind you, the board has had the benefit of reviewing your petition packet, so you don't need to testify about the things contained specifically within it, and you want to use your testimony to provide evidence of rehabilitation to the board.
Do I start now?
You may begin.
No, actually, I still have not changed my mind about not deserving to get my license back, as I stated in my reinstatement application. I did something back in, 2007, 2008, that I should never have done. It was all my fault. There's no one else to blame but myself. There is just absolutely no excuse for what I did. I am so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed as I sit here in front of all the big and important people in society, just as yourselves. I'm really sorry to waste your time like this. I'm sure you probably have better things to do than sit here listening to a crook like me. I'm just, with this reinstatement, I'm just hoping that the member of the board will find heart in their minds to give me just one more chance at doing what I love to do, to do something that I'm only good at. Can I, yeah, you've seen the testimonies. Yeah, okay. In 2007, I treated two patients. I don't remember their faces. It's been a while, but there were two patients. One of them, it was a auto accident, personal injury case. One of them was I remember as the driver was the pastor of a church, and he had a passenger who was a elderly member of the congregation. He used to give rights services, and the pastor was doing that, and they got into an accident. They both came to my office. The pastor came in regularly after that. She didn't. I let my greed get in front of me and just fraudulently created this billing statement for the passengers. I submitted both the drivers and the passengers, and that's what happened. You know, in a way, I'm kind of glad that I was caught doing this. At least this made a stop to what to all this. Had I gotten away with this, I don't know. I may have tried to pull something like this out again. So. I'm really sorry. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about applying. I thought I'd never deserved it, getting back my license, so I didn't even think about it. So, but ever since the pandemic hit, I realized how much I missed doing chiropractic work, and that's why I decided to do it, and that's why I'm here. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kim, are you done with your testimony for now? And if so,
Yes.
I'd like to move on to Mr. Curtis's questions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Curtis.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Kim, are there any other criminal or civil judgments against you that have not been discussed or included in your petition packet?
There's nothing criminal. I know I have a civil case still pending. It occurred almost at the same time this was happening. I didn't even pay attention to it. I read the complaints and I thought, to me, it was against Allstate Insurance. I thought it was pretty ridiculous, so I didn't even pay attention to it. So I just let it go default, and it's still pending.
Okay, and so there was a lawsuit filed by Allstate regarding billing issues with them?
Not particular a case like the one we're talking about here. It's just general. They were, yeah, it was something about the DBAs, the fictitious names that I've used in the past. I didn't know that was an issue. I never changed the tax ID. I just I used some names which didn't really like, so I changed it a few times, and that was probably what it was all about. So I didn't even pay attention to it. So yeah, it's still pending.
Okay. You, judging from what you put down for prior employment, you've had a pretty varied employment history recently. Have you worked either for pay or in a volunteer setting in any type of chiropractic clinic or chiropractic setting in, say, the last 5 years?
Oh.
If you can, I'd like you to discuss, if you've had time to reflect, what you believe the circumstances were that led to the submission of these fraudulent billing statements. Not an excuse, but an explanation as you understand it for why you allowed that to happen or why you did it.
I thought I was going to get away with some easy cash. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's embarrassing. I was, what can I say?
Okay.
It's so embarrassing.
Was it strictly related to, trying to obtain monetary payment, or do you believe there were other issues surrounding that?
No, there was no other issues. It was just all on my part. I thought I would get away. I don't know. Something got in me. I really cannot explain. I thought it was going to be easy case. I think it was from my memory. I think it was just a rear-ended accident. It could be wrong, but at the time the liability I think was clear. The church pastor, member of, as I put it before, an elderly woman in her congregation. I don't know, they were actually going to the church, or I don't know what was going on, but she, the pastor was giving her a ride, and yeah, so that's what happened.
That's okay. Let me ask you this. At the time that you'd submitted these fraudulent billing statements, you'd been a chiropractor, you'd been licensed for a number of years, approximately 12 years or so. Had you ever done this before? And if not, have you thought about what it was that was particular about this case or these patients? As I'm sure you've seen a number of patients over the years. Why at that point in time you decided to do that?
Yes, as I stated in my statement in the application, I think about this there's not one day that I did not think about this. Why I did it until now, I still don't understand what I was thinking when I was doing something that stupid.
Have you had time to reflect on how your actions had caused harm, not only to potentially the patient, but also the profession and the public in general?
Oh yes, of course. I just gave a bad name to all the other hardworking, honest chiropractors out there, working day in and day out. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let me ask you this. Obviously, if you were to have your license reinstated in any capacity, things happen in life. If there were another issue where, you're hurting financially or, the economy went south or any similar situation, what assurances could you give to the board or can you give that you wouldn't make the same decision down the road if there were issues again financially?
What I can say is, I am so embarrassed at what I did, and I just cannot picture myself doing this again, going through what I had to go through. Yeah, at this point, I've said it before, but I don't deserve to get the license back ever. I'm going to be in 3 years. I'm going to be 60 years old. Even if I get the license back, I have maybe 10 years in me for this.
Have you shared your experience with family or friends, or tried to use your experience as a teaching tool for anyone else?
Oh yes, well, yeah. Obviously, my my mother, my brother. I mean, they're extremely disappointed in me.
Let me ask you, you had also put in your application that you go down and volunteer in Tijuana, Mexico. How did you find out about volunteering down in Tijuana?
Okay, yeah, it was a member actually, she was a former patient of mine, member of the congregation, Seventh-day Adventist Church. Yeah, I didn't want to bring up the church because I don't want to give the impression that all the Seventh-day Adventists are crooks like me. Yeah, they've been doing this kind of volunteer work once every month. They would gather up like canned food, clothing, all kind, things like that. And there's actually one minivan and another caravan. It's a husband and wife team. They would go down to Tijuana once a month, every Sabbath.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. So you're going down with some other people
Yeah,
on mission
yeah.
trips. Had you done any research as to whether or not you were able to practice chiropractic care in Mexico, or did you consult with anybody before doing that?
No, I haven't. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't even think that there was something wrong with it until today. I heard from the previous doctor you were discussing it. That this is when I knew it. Had I known that I was doing something wrong, I would never have done it. But you know, she knew that what happened to me, and she knew what was happening to me psychologically, and how I was breaking up, and she thought it would be a healing process for me to actually volunteer and go down to Mexico with them for once a month, and in actuality, it was just a healing process for me, going down there.
Well, let me ask you this.
I'm going to stop everybody. Mr. Patterson, I'm getting a little bit of feedback on your line. So if you could just make sure that you're limiting that, that would be helpful. Thank you.
I apologize, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Curtis.
Thanks, Judge. I'm almost done. Mr. Kim, aside from any licensure issues, my question is, did you feel safe providing any type of chiropractic care back in 2017, given that you hadn't practiced as a chiropractor in some time? And if so, what had you done and what are you doing to keep up in advances in medical care?
As a chiropractor?
Yes.
Well, ever since I lost my license, as I told you, I never thought I deserved the bag. Never even dreamed about becoming a licensed chiropractor again. Yes, I still treated my families, friends whenever they needed adjustments here and there. So I've been doing that, and before I lost the license, I mean, it's believe it or not, I consider myself a very good chiropractor, and yeah, I still haven't lost it, and going to Mexico, um, yeah, without any other kind of physical therapy machines or anything, all I had was a portable table, and I was in one day. Sometimes I would see like at least sometimes up to 30 patients in one day, and most of them.
Mr. Kim, my question's a little bit different. In reviewing your CLEs, which are great that you're taking those, they seem to be fairly recent. So aside from that, prior to your application here, what had you done to keep up with advancements or updates to the chiropractic community as a whole to provide any type of care?
Besides what I did in Mexico, nothing.
Okay. You understand that without a license, that means that you can't practice chiropractic care, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and that includes on anyone?
Yes.
Okay. Those are all the questions I have. Thank you, Mr. Kim.
Okay, so we now go to Dr. Mclean. Any questions?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Kim. I just have a couple of things that I want some clarification on. Looking at your packet that you turned in, your petition for reinstatement, particularly BCE 000002, that's the second page. The third question asks, have you had any disciplinary action taken against any professional license in this state or any other? And you answered no. Do you feel that that was the correct answer and that you understood that question?
Yes, I just looked at the word criminal. Is that what we're talking about? Are you now on probation or parole for any criminal or?
No, I'm sorry, excuse me. The next one down, have you ever had disciplinary action taken against any professional license in this state or any other?
Oh, no.
You do realize that this surrendering your license is considered disciplinary action?
Oh, I thought, okay, so I thought this meant that besides what we're here for, okay, so I guess it must, in this case, it should be yes instead of no.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That was a misunderstanding on my part.
Okay. I understand that you're remorseful and you seem very sympathetic about what you have done and surrendering your license. My question is, how will that prevent you from repeating the behavior? Do you have any steps that you can put in place? Do you have a plan so that if given the opportunity again where a pastor or someone who you have sympathy for wants you to do something, what assures us that you won't do it again?
Well, deep down in my heart, I'm not going to do this ever again. What I've been through, I don't ever want to go through this again. And what I did, it was just not worth doing. That's all I can say. Like I told you, I do not deserve to get this license back for what I did on this case for the profession, for the patient, the insurance company. This should not have happened, and yeah,
It's okay. I understand what you're saying. Just one last thing, and I don't want to beat this fact over. I just want a little more clarification. You mentioned that after listening to the earlier testimony, you understand that going to Mexico and treating was wrong. What, why do you feel that was wrong now?
because I didn't have the license to practice. I've given up the power to do anything that's under the license, and I should not have done it.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Kim. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, Dr. Paris, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Cruz.
I have no questions.
Okay, Dr. Adams.
Yes, Mr. Kim. Just as I've been listening to your testimony and your answers to responses, you know your remorse and your feeling of rejection is apparent. And so I just have. What's that?
I think he needs a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did we? Oh no, okay. He is still present in the meeting. I think he just needed a moment to collect himself. Mr. Kim, when you are able to be back.
I'm so sorry.
I understand that there are a lot of emotions that people experience in hearings like these, and thank you. So, Dr. Adams, please continue.
Dr. Kim, are you okay to go forward, or you need a little more time?
I'm fine. Sorry about this.
as I stated, it's clear that your remorses and your feelings are deep, and I completely understand that. I'm feeling a little emotional myself as I'm listening to you, and I know that you know, your family, you know, that you have felt, as you stated there, the shame and that's apparent. I just had a question about you stated that, you know, that and as Mr. Curtis pointed out, you know, it seems so uncharacteristic for you to do this. You'd been in practice for 12 years, and then all of a sudden this situation comes along and this happens. And so I guess it kind of sparked in me it seems so uncharacteristic for what I'm seeing now, the emotion and everything. So did someone say to you, you know, a chiropractic colleague or somebody that gave this idea to you, and it just kind of got in your brain a little bit over time, and then you thought, I'm gonna try this, or did this just happen?
No, no influence. I don't associate with people like that. It was just
Your
me.
Honor, it's breaking up.
Okay,
I
Mr.
can't.
Patterson?
Yes, he's
Okay, let's
didn't come
have,
through.
can you hear me now, Mr. Patterson?
Dr. Adams was breaking up as well, Mr. Adams.
Okay, I heard them pretty clearly. So what was the last thing that you heard?
I didn't hear any of the answer.
Okay, so Mr. Kim, if you wouldn't mind repeating your answer to Dr. Adams' question.
Yes, there was no one else that influenced me to do something this stupid. I don't want to associate people like that. I'm the only one to blame for doing something like this. Again, I'm so embarrassed, and I'm really sorry.
Thank you for your answer. And just one other thing, did you when you did take care of friends and family and any of the patients in Mexico, which I now, you do realize that was contrary to your revocation of your license, but did you keep records, and do you keep records of any of your adjustments and of family and friends, even if you're not going to Mexico anymore?
No.
Okay. I have no further questions. Regardless of the outcome of this, I hope that you can forgive yourself, you know, and move on in your life. And anyway, no further questions.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Daniels.
Hi, Mr. Kim.
No.
So I was wondering, you said that you felt that your license shouldn't be reinstated, and you're clearly remorseful, yet you're applying for the reinstatement. And so I was just wondering if you could share, if you were the board and you were listening to your testimony, what is it that you think is a reasonable answer or approach to why that person should get their license back?
The only reason why I applied for the license was that when the pandemic hit and I couldn't go back to Mexico again, I just missed doing chiropractic so much. And so I reapplied for the reinstatement for the application. Still thinking that I should not be given the license, but I just want to do chiropractic. I want to treat people. I mean, I'm really good at it too.
Just one more question. would you be willing to retake the chiropractic boards in order to get your license back?
The examination?
Yeah, the national boards, would you be willing to retake those examinations in order to get your license back?
Yes, if that's something that I have to do. I don't know how much of it I have left in me, but yeah, if that's what it takes, yes, I would take it again.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
Okay, and Mr. Sweet.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
All right, that concludes the petition hearing in this matter. The case is submitted and the record is closed. We are off the record in this matter. So thank you, Mr. Kim. We are now going to give the board an opportunity to regroup before it goes into closed session.
Thank you, Your Honor. I actually would like to just go directly into closed session.
Okay.
Because we will have a break after that and
Okay.
begin our deliberations. So if we can wrap up with the court reporter and have staff take everyone off that should not be in the closed session, then we can move to a closed session.
Okay. All right, Mr. Patterson. I have 3 court reporter forms that I will need to fill out.
I have 3. Yes.
The first one,
3 times for you.
Mr. Ali Akbar, what end time do you have?
One moment. Mr. Ali Akbar. May I get the spelling of his? I was given Alakbar. I think he spelled it, but I'm not sure what he said.
Aliakbar.
Ali Akbar. Thank you very much. I have an ending time of 10:44 a.m.
Number of pages.
Pardon me?
Number of pages?
Approximate number of pages is 65.
65. All right, let's move on to the next one. Mr. Nabat Mama, what end time do you have?
I have the ending time at 12:28 p.m.
Pages?
Approximate number of pages is 65 pages.
Okay, and now our last one, Mr. Kim.
Mr. Kim, I have the ending time at 1:12 p.m.
Okay, pages?
The approximate number of pages is...
I didn't hear that. Could you say it one more time?
35 pages.
35. Okay, and
Yes.
I have your CSR number in my file, Mr. Patterson, so I think that's all that I need from you. Do you need anything else, or can we
Thank
go
you.
into closed
I'll
session?
forego spellings and go with phonetics or whatever. I will just figure it out.
Okay,
Now, I'm sorry for all the interruptions, Your Honor. It's a very challenging. I'll leave it at that.
I understand.
Yes, thank you for helping out.
Okay, have a good day.
Goodbye. Okay,
Bye.
you too. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
All right. What do we need to do will the host be moving us into and closing
Yes,
out the folks?
Mr. Pulio, who will be moving us to
Yes.
closed session?
This is the moderator. I will be assisting Amanda Campbell, and then she will take over as the host for the closed session. So at this point, we will demote the panelists who are not participating to be attendees and no longer panelists. So that will take a couple of moments. Just hold on here as we work, and then we will go into closed session.
Okay. This is Robert. Our attorney, Jason Hurtado, should be in closed session, and Amanda, who's the scribe for closed session, and I think, and all the board members, of course, and I think that's it.
Great. Okay, perfect. That's a big help. And do you have any approximate time for when you're going to return to open session?
No, I would say no more than 20 minutes.
Alrighty.
You do have items other than deliberations. There's the exam
that's true.
and there's the selection of an interim executive officer. So I would guess you may need close to an hour, depending on how long deliberations take.
Okay.
And I didn't mention the ALJ earlier, but of course the ALJ needs to be in
That's
closed session
what
as well.
I had hoped
Exactly.
I would be included. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
So one moment while I finish changing the last of the participants to attendees.